Hello, I'm Dan Rather, and welcome to the CBS Evening News Online Edition. Just ahead, a Spaceship One spectacular. The $10 million prize is won, but not everybody is happy with tourist and other commercial space flight. Also, what's going on inside Mount St. Helens? And the Patriot Act. It's supposed to help in the war on terror, and in some ways it has, but does it go too far or not? Where the presidential candidates stand in CBS's election series, What Does It Mean to You? It's all starting now on the CBS Evening News Online Edition. High, very high over California today, a man in a tiny rocket accomplished the modern equivalent of Charles Lindbergh's first solo flight across the Atlantic. Like Lindbergh, he won a prize for it. And as CBS's Bill Whitaker reports, like Lindbergh, he opened what some say is the future of space travel for all of us.
One day, they promise, space flights like this will be commonplace. Today, it's simply amazing. In the clear sky above the Mojave for the second time in 6 days, Spaceship One rocketed toward the heavens, reaching almost 70 miles into space, into history. Pilot, now astronaut, Brian Binney, experienced 3.5 minutes of weightlessness, long enough to play and take in the sights. Back on Earth, he could have been on Cloud 9.
It's a fantastic view. It's a fantastic feeling. There's a freedom there and a sense of wonder that, I tell you what, you all need to experience.
That's the dream, to open space to everyone. Today's flight was almost flawless, no spinning like the last time. Designer Burt Rutan was walking on air.
We've identified some major breakthroughs that make us confident that manned spaceflight can be flown at very high safety levels.
His team is in the record books again, breaking an altitude record. They're also in the money, winning the $10 million X Prize for putting a private passenger craft into space twice within 2 weeks. But they say it's not about the money, it's about the future. A new space age in which private commercial spaceships will make out-of-this-world tourism routine. Virgin Atlantic airline owner Richard Branson and the Spaceship One team plan to launch a new space venture, Virgin Galactic, to shuttle civilians into space, if they have $200,000, that is. But the FAA says don't let the excitement obscure the risk of an unregulated industry.
Will the money continue to flow even if there's an accident?
But that's a question for this team to answer later. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Mojave, California.
In the Pacific Northwest, Mount St. Helens blew off more steam today. The volcano belched out a huge plume, but that posed no threat to population centers such as Portland or Seattle, at least for now. So under the smoke, what's going on beneath the volcano? CBS's John Blackstone has a real inside story tonight.
The latest burst of steam and ash from Mount St. Helens erupted into a clear sky for some 40 minutes. With almost no wind, a billowing cloud rose above the crater to 12,000 feet. Even during the explosion, Mount St. Helens continued to rumble with earthquakes.
The rock starts to break, and each time the rock breaks, we have an earthquake.
So what is going on beneath this restless mountain? Geologists say magma, molten rock under tremendous pressure, is breaking layers of solid rock, creating earthquakes as it pushes from below. When enough rock is broken, the magma flows up, causing vibrations geologists call harmonic tremors. The hot magma heats groundwater, generating explosions of steam and ash.
This could be punctuated with something else very soon.
The something else may be a bigger explosion as magma breaks through the crater floor. But Mount St. Helens won't produce the hot lava flows of volcanoes in Italy and Hawaii.
How is this mountain different from, say, Kilauea?
The stuff in Hawaii is runny. The stuff out here is much more thick and pasty, tends to clog up in the vents. It has more gas dissolved in it and is more explosive.
Scientists now believe the magma is pushing up through the same underground channel as the huge eruption of 1980 that blew the top off Mount St. Helens and buried hundreds of square miles in ash and debris.
The eruption that's forecast won't be nearly as powerful as that, scientists say, but they believe today's steam burst is just a taste of what could come in as little as a few hours or perhaps a few months. John Blackstone, CBS News, near Mount St. Helens.
The constitutional rights of Americans are at the heart of a national debate over the Patriot Act, the law written after the 9/11 attacks to help prevent terrorism. The presidential candidates agree on the goal, but not on all of the methods. Wyatt Andrews reports in CBS's Eye on America election series, What Does It Mean to You?
Mary Lieberman saw exactly how the Patriot Act might be abused when she was the director of a church-based group in Knoxville helping Iraqi refugees.
An agent from the FBI came to my office and said to me, "Let me look at all your files of all your Iraqi-born clients."
All the files meant personal and medical records of refugees legally in America, some because they had fought Saddam Hussein. Under the Patriot Act, the FBI has broad powers to go after terrorists, but Lieberman says she felt a chill for Americans.
It just felt like this overbroad fishing expedition.
What would you say to those people who would expect the FBI to do no less than this?
I would say first it would be the Iraqis, and then it would be somebody else, and then Mr. John Q. Public, it would be you.
When Lieberman fought the FBI, a federal judge forced her to give up some, but not all, of the Iraqi records. She joined an ACLU lawsuit challenging the reach of the Patriot Act. Those who would reform the Patriot Act, including liberals and conservatives, don't claim there have been widespread abuses of civil liberties so far, only that the potential exists. So in the presidential campaign, the question is, should the Patriot Act be changed?
The Patriot Act defends our liberty.
President Bush wants the Patriot Act to stand as is.
The Patriot Act makes it able for those of us in positions of responsibility to defend the liberty of the American people. It's essential law.
John Kerry, however, has proposed reforms.
Now, there are several provisions in the Act that I think need to be changed.
Kerry would require FBI agents to list specific facts when they want personal records and specific targets when they want roving wiretaps. He would also let parts of the act expire at the end of next year.
We're not going to undo those parts of it that are very important to the security of our country.
What frightens Mary Lieberman is the secrecy the FBI has under the Patriot Act. When agents want personal records for a certain time, the person being investigated cannot be told.
I was really scared, not just for these clients, but just for my country.
But defenders of the act say that secrecy is needed so terrorists don't know the feds are looking, that Mary Lieberman and innocent Americans can relax.
Whoa.
In Washington, Wyatt Andrews for Eye on America.
More stories are just a click away. But don't forget to join me on television for the on-air edition of the CBS Evening News. On Tuesday, they could easily elect the next president. So why don't most of America's 22 million single women vote? For CBSNews.com, I'm Dan Rather.